Justice Smith is directing a movie that's coming out soon, and I'll just say the title right now to show him that I can. It's titled The American Society of Magical Negroes. I think it should be titled The American Society of Magical Narcissists because Justice Smith is a narcissist. He recently did an interview with TMZ. They probably hounded him at an airport, is what it looks like.
It is.
Yeah, they always do this to people. I would not want to be caught in a TMZ interview at the airport ever.
But
Like, that's when I'm at my lowest.
Yeah.
But he said that white people are not allowed to say the title of the movie.
There's a $20 super chat here from Matthew Hammond. Says Tim needs the furries on one side and Jackson Galaxy and Cesar Milan on the other side. Yes, that'd be great. I've heard his dog training. I heard his techniques have been called into question.
It would be probably the best 5 minutes of the Culture War podcast if Caesar was waiting there and the furry walks in and that's how it goes. That's the whole thing, and then the furry just gets mad and
You'll need to
pees
set up
on the floor and
a
leaves.
litter box for the furries.
Here's the thing about this clip. So you watch this clip, and I really do believe, and I think Mary was correct, that the media is running cover for this guy by saying that he's just joking. But let's watch this clip, and you let us know what you think. Was he kidding or not?
Justice, how are you, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I'm really looking forward to your upcoming film.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not even sure if I can say the title. Am I allowed to say the title?
You know. I would just shorten it to American Society.
American
Keep it at
Society.
that.
Oh, white people need to shorten the title.
White people need to shorten.
I like that. I like that. Can you please just?
Do you think he's kidding?
I think he might.
There's more to it.
Well, I mean, the rest is him just explaining the movie.
quickly
Yeah.
explain the basic premise to me because it's hilarious.
It's about this guy who makes a lot of space for white people, is very uncomfortable around them, and he gets indoctrinated into a society whose mission it is to keep white people happy.
Yeah.
In order to keep the world safe. Because when white people are not happy, they do crazy things.
So they don't even have a pretense of it being a rom-com then, because like
it turns into a rom-com between the black protagonist and a white woman that he falls in love with.
But that's not. I mean, the director just said that that's not what it's about, though.
Yeah,
it's about the racial stuff.
Yeah.
So
the trailer calls white people the most dangerous creatures to have ever walked the earth. It's very clearly pushing a certain narrative. And just because this guy said this while laughing doesn't mean he was joking. I think he was serious.
Wouldn't it have been the opposite argument is, wouldn't it have been fantastic promotion for his movie to actually give people who might not know the go-ahead to be able to say it? Because the joke I made and the joke everyone made when this was first announced is like, what are you just waiting for? Like, are there going to be hidden camera shots of people going to see the movie and be like, I'll have 2 tickets for... And then they have to whisper it to the guy because they don't want to get in trouble, right? Like, if he has a moment here where he can be a little bit magnanimous and be like, no, you're allowed to say the title of the movie, wouldn't that be fantastic promotion for what you claim to be something that you want to be inclusive?
Yeah, I mean, I think he knew what he was doing with titling it this way.
They definitely don't want to be inclusive.
There's a $20 one here from Disco Jensen. Says, you missed 2 $20 super chats. Which ones did we miss?
Sorry, let me look. I don't think.
I don't see two $20 that got missed, bud.
Yeah, I don't see any. Sorry.
I don't think you're right. Unless there's something here that I can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let us know if you find them.
Yeah.
No, you're right, Phil. Like, he's not trying to be inclusive.
Yeah.
If he were trying to do that, he would have never made a movie that antagonizes white people in the first place.
Yep.
You know? I don't know why this movie was necessary, and I found it encouraging that the response from everyone on social media was that this is a bad idea. A lot of black audiences aren't going to find this appealing because they've been asking for just like a normal movie with a black cast that isn't about white people. You don't need to recycle the same ideas over and over again. Like, they were thinking, like, just put black people into a movie with a fantasy genre instead of making it a movie about race hustling.
Hollywood doesn't
Yeah.
know. Like, I don't know if it's just a lack of. It's that they're only aware of their own struggles, but Hollywood doesn't know how to make movies about other like groups that aren't white people about something other than their own internal struggles, right? So if it's a movie about a woman, it has to be about the struggles that it is to be a woman or women's issues, rather than just being a movie about a woman and something women like.
Yeah, I think there's some substance to that. It's never a happens to be.
Yes, exactly. The character.
It's
like,
always
unless it's a race swap.
and their identity is always something about the storyline as well nowadays.
Yeah, which is stupid because you kind of cordon yourself off from a lot of possible audience goers when you make that like it, because it's not because people are bad, it's not because people are bigoted, it's just that it doesn't resonate with them. So why would they want to go see that movie? People need stories and themes that are more universal in tone, that everyone can get behind and watch, because people don't go to the movies in general to look for stuff like that. They want to escape the real world. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Justice Smith is getting cover from the media right now saying that he was joking because it casts him in a better light. But they're saying that he was quoting something from the film's trailer where the protagonist tells his mentor that they should consider changing the name of this secret society to the American Society of Magical Black People, Life Imitating Art. So maybe that was an inside joke with himself, but I'm really not willing to give him that charitable of an interpretation.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that everyone thought this was a stupid idea. I don't understand why a movie like this would get greenlit. Like, this is almost certainly going to lose money.
Yeah.
But it's just made for ideological purposes.
And it's already proving to be divisive amongst the general public.
Yeah.
Like, if you look up the movie on YouTube, almost every video about it is critical of the themes in general.
Across the political spectrum.
Yes.
From
Yeah.
all political views, all races. Like, no one thought that this was... Like, it didn't land the way he thought it would, and I think he's getting, like, pissed off at the mass audience saying no to this before it's even out.
I don't know what he thought it was going to be. Like, I don't imagine that there's a strong precedent that would say that this was going to be something that people were really going to get behind, unless he's referring to like how beloved like the old Key and Peele skits are in relation to something like this. But that was something that was self-referential and on television, and nothing to do with the movie that was so clearly antagonistic.
Well, why do you think that a movie like Get Out was so well received?
Yeah.
And that this won't be?
Because Get Out kept its marketing more general.
How so?
Like the trailer didn't seem. Also, it was a different time. Like, it was just like, how long ago was Get Out? 2016
or 17?
2017.
idea.
So that was a long time ago, and the country's been through a crap ton of stuff between that time period and now. And the culture around these issues is vastly different than it was in 2016 and 2017. Like, his movies since then haven't garnered the same amount of universal praise that Get Out did.
Yeah, I could psychoanalyze this guy to death. I think that, like, I don't know why, but it seems like people who are half black have more ideological loyalties to, like, critical race theory and BLM and, like, stuff like that.
Why do you think that is?
Because, like, usually if they have a white parent, the white parent has white guilt, and they, like, project that onto their kid and tell them that they're oppressed from the time that they're growing up, and that's their whole worldview. And this guy clearly has some antagonism toward white people that he's using his movies to vent.
Yeah.
And he feels like his life revolves around keeping white people happy, when it doesn't have to be like that. Like, you're torturing yourself for no reason.
I was thinking about this yesterday. This is just a thought experiment I had, because I was thinking, like, given that most of Hollywood tends to lean in a certain direction, what I would love to see is a lot of these writers and these creators challenge themselves to write characters that they disagree with in the best light possible, like kind of like the artistic equivalent to steel manning an argument. Like, instead of creating characters that are dumbed down for the sake of of simplistic arguments, go forth and create all your characters with the same level of excitement you create the protagonist. Because back in the day, a real creator, a real writer would look to create their villains in exactly the same amount of excitement that they would do so for their protagonist. But now, because everything is a self-insert, you're looking to write your protagonist as a far more nuanced and likable character than you ever, or at least maybe not likable, because they love to make snarky, crappy characters as well. But the point is, you should never create an antagonistic character at the base level, because you don't elevate your main character by denigrating your bad guy, right? You elevate the main character by elevating the bad guy, and you create nuance there by creating unique stories with characters that have understandable motivations. And the problem is,
you can tell that they're not writing they're not writing characters like, and I think that's a great idea. Like, steel man the characters that you're writing, write them all in the best, with the best possible light, with as if they were actually trying to do something good, even if they're demented and the motivation to you seems foreign or whatever. You have to try to understand why they would be motivated to do what they do. And if they're just, it's rare that things are just because someone's malicious, like truly malicious, or at least if they are malicious, they can justify it. So there's a story and why are they malicious. So if you put thought into it, you can write characters that even if you're not sympathetic to their perspective, you can humanize them and make them a much richer character with more depth.
The idea used to be that every villain is the hero in his own story, right? Like in the villain's mind, he is the good guy.
Yes, exactly.
He is doing the right thing, and you should write that, and you should be able to write that story from the perspective that maybe you don't understand it, but he definitely does. And there's just no willingness to do that anymore, because when they do, it becomes an anti-hero story, and then it becomes an excuse for bad behavior. You can still write an antagonist. You can still write a bad guy with realistic beliefs and motives, even if they're doing abhorrent things.
Yep.
And I would like to see more of that.
Who is the bad guy in American society?
In this movie, I'm guessing that's society.
Is it white people?
Society, yeah. Yes.
But he falls in love with a white person.
White culture in America, stuff like that. I want to see more of that in these movies. One of the things I loved about a lot of the, a lot of people really loved Killmonger in Black Panther because he had motives and beliefs that they're like, at least he stood behind what he said and he believed it, right?
And when he explained it, it's like, even if it was like something you didn't like or whatever, it's like it made sense, and you were like, okay, this is, at least you can understand this, and it makes him human. It makes him relatable, even if it's something that you wouldn't personally, find anything other than horrible,
In the chat, Sour Patch Lids, who is in the chat today, says,
"Hi, Lids."
She says, you can't write a good villain without exercising empathy. Yes, and a lot of people don't want to have empathy for characters they disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's because if you have empathy, you get accused of possibly, having some kind, identifying with evil somehow, and in a culture which has a politically correct idea, and everything else that is not politically correct is unmentionable. If you can identify with, then you possibly could be.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media, and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.